Okay, so my last video did really well. Um, and I got to 100 subscribers. Damn, alright. I guess I'll keep making videos. Thanks for getting me to 100 subscribers! Also, I have a mic! I don't sound like ass, let's go! Since making videos actually makes me motivated to draw more of my OCs and personal art in general, I decided that I wanted to make a video about redesigning and properly drawing my OCs because I haven't done that yet for these guys. Seriously, in my Toy House folders of these guys, half of them don't have proper illustrations or references yet. But that's about to change. Okay, so a little bit of backstory for these guys. The characters I'm going to draw are my characters for a comic series I want to do called Daily Lives of Monsters. The plot is in the title. It's basically a bunch of monsters living their lives in a world that's not that different from ours. The only difference is that they have their own countries and nations, culture and history, but other than that, looks-wise, it's kind of the same as ours. I don't know if you can tell, but this was very much inspired by Monster High and a bunch of slice of life animes like Nishijo and Lucky Star. I'm not the best when it comes to plots, so I thought I could make something that has no plot whatsoever, but each character have their own little side plots and arcs to develop throughout the series. Okay, so I'm gonna show what they look like, and keep in mind this is from like high school, like junior year or maybe senior year, I don't know, it's around high school. So this is what they look like before, and I only drew like 2 of them. I need to fix that. I also drew like some of the other cast members, but they obviously need, I gotta draw them properly. So first up we have Oliver Rotter. He's the straight man of the group and is usually the serious one, while the other characters are silly or are up to something. Think of Kagami from Lucky Star or Haru from Oran. He's around his early 20s, and yeah, I decided that they age normally like humans except for certain species. And he lives with his roommate Ozul, who is the exact opposite of him personality-wise, but we'll talk more about him later. When I first made Oliver, I wanted him to be very pastel except for the rotted parts of his skin. So there's a bit of more dynamic in his design and color palette. His outfit also has that half and half thing going on with the stitched parts and having 2 colors. At least for his tops he does. I actually had a lot of trouble picking colors for his outfit for some reason, and I had to go to Pinterest and find pastel goth color palettes and art and pick colors from there. His flaws are that 1, he doesn't really know how to have fun, and 2, he's too strict with his friends sometimes. He grew up in a family that's pretty strict, so that kind of rubbed off on him as he grew older. And due to that, he only ever had 1 or 2 friends in school, one of which was Ozul, who, despite Oliver's few yet big flaws, saw that he kind of meant well, and he didn't really, you know, he kind of had no choice but, I guess, to really kind of have that personality. Throughout the story, I'll have to come up with a way on how he can overcome those 2 problems, but you know what? That's a problem for a future me.
魚、ツノツノ、ツナ、鮭、昆布、おかか、鮭いくら、明太子、ツナマヨ、筋か、魚、鮭、昆布。
Next we have Ozul Sombrades, Oliver's roommate and childhood friend. Ozul is a shadow man and is an outgoing fella who just kind of loves to have little adventures with his friends and have a good time with them. Because he's a shadow man and you can't really notice him that well, he prefers to wear bright and colorful clothes so he can stand out more and be recognizable. For character you can compare him to, I'd say Gumball from The Amazing World of Gumball and Sans from Undertale would probably do fine, just to get a little more grasp on his personality. Ozul grew up with a family who was a lot more lenient when it comes to rules, but still guided him to like the right direction. He can go a little overboard with his jokes and antics, however, and has hurt himself and others in the past, whether it's like physical or mental. He does own up to his mistakes, but not until like way later because his pride gets in the way. Design-wise, I think he was the most fun to come up with outfits and stuff because he wears, number 1, he wears bright clothing, and 2, he wears street clothing and like a lot of baggy stuff. So it was kind of fun to play around with his silhouette and a bunch of other clothes that I found on Pinterest to like, you know, dress him up in. And because he is a shadow man, I was like, I don't know, just to like have him as like just like a shadow, just kind of boring. So I thought it'd be fun if I had like a little bit of a gradient going on with him, depending on what outfit he wore. Like the tips of his hands and like around like the top of his head would have a gradient of like, I guess like the main color of his outfit. And you know what? That was fun. That was nice. That's a nice little detail that I added for him.
All right. Okay. Cashier. Who's the cashier? Yeah. Fucking whatever. Amen, bro. Okay. Single hamburger. Who is putting shit on the grill for me, man? I saw that. What the fuck did he say, you fucking dog shit manager? Pay my fucking bills, you fucking bitch. Go away! Go away! Stop putting the patties down, please! I'm gonna go insane! Guys, the double patty syndicate, can someone motherfucking rap? Motherfucking rap!
Up next is Hunter Wolf, and you'll never guess what he is. He's a werewolf. Who would have thought? Originally, I thought I'd have his outfit be based around a horror game male protagonist Where's My Wife characters, but then I quickly realized there's really nothing I can really go off of, like outfit-wise, if I do that. So, after going through Pinterest for maybe like an hour or so to look up for new ideas, I found this picture that led me to redesign him and tweaking him to look a little bit more emo and grungy, which works out perfectly in my opinion because of the whole werewolf thing. I also thought adding a dog tag would be kind of cute, and it has like his family information and like contact information, like in case he gets lost or something like that, like real dog collars and how they have like the owner's information and whatnot. It's a, you know, fun little detail. Hunter is the eldest in his family. He has 5 younger siblings and having to take care of most of them by himself for a while. He has a very nurturing personality, and alongside Oliver is the responsible one of the group, albeit a lot more nicer than Oliver. I guess he's more like the peacemaker or like the mediator of the group, I guess. Although because of this, he's afraid to voice his opinions and thoughts on some things due to the fear of him causing any kind of conflict within his friend group. That is also the reason why he's pining for one of the members in the group, but we'll get to her on a different story. That's a different story for another day, maybe. I don't know. Think of him kind of like Ragatha from the Amazing Digital Circus or Steven from Steven Universe. Yeah, this guy has a lot to work out for himself. I swear I love my children. I swear to God, this is character. My dumbass meant it adds character, not it is character. I don't know why I said that. Anyways.
Doctor, I'm leaving the land ship tomorrow, so I tidied up your office. I put your daily necessities on your desk and sorted everything else into the cabinets. You can refer to the notes I made whenever you take or return something, so you'll remember where they are. You're talking to me? No, it's just... I only saw you a few times from a distance during our Babel days, and we never had a conversation. I saw you on the deck once. A gust of wind almost blew your coat away, so I wanted to remind you to wear more layers. But in the end, I didn't have the guts to approach you.
Next is Misha Kliknov, who is half vampire and half succubus. Misha is a model for a makeup brand and has been modeling since they were a child. Not for makeup, but for children's clothes. But as they got older, they got to model for other fashion brands until their current brand hired them as their full-time model. Misha is very social and will always go to business-related parties and gatherings, not just to socialize, but to also make new connections. Although because they have a lot of connections and are very social, they have a lot of drama and tea to talk about. However, to their closest friends, Misha is very loyal and is definitely a girly's girl. Misha's outfits were fun to draw since I don't have a lot of chances to draw these kinds of outfits, and their colors were fun to play around with too. Misha's gender fluid, but despite how masculine or feminine they're feeling, I like to think they still dress more femme than they do mask. If they ever do dress in a mask way, it's gonna be masculine in a bird way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at all these beautiful male birds. Peak masculinity right there. Thanks to Misha being half succubus and half vampire, they don't have to necessarily, you know, do the succubus thing to get energy or sustenance. They can just kind of get their sustenance from just getting attention from people, hence why they're modeling. And that is how they found out they can get their energy. I guess it's the perks of being half vampire and half succubus. I don't know. Their personality was inspired by Prince Naveen from The Princess and the Frog and Chloe from Bratz Dolls. I actually, fun fact, I struggled trying to find inspirations for the characters that I base their personality off of, so yeah, they're a little less developed than I would like them to be, but you know what, this is a good stepping stone, I think, to developing them further.
Did you just let a ghost go scot-free? That's like a huge no-no. So it's like we're low-key the new thing. New gen angels. Duh, it's a written judgment. So like, no hate, but we'll be taking those licenses of yours, please. I'll say it once more for the people in the back row. Basically, hard facts, you guys just lost your right to exercise ghosts here. While you two were literally lounging around 24/7 and fucking around, we entered a whole new era. So those weapons are not just giving boomer aesthetics, they're totally useless now.
You could at least try to look like real dead-ass demons.
Oh my god, I'm like dead! This is gonna go viral! It's cringe, but such are the duties of a traditional angel. Shut up, boomer.
Next we have Aya Hassan, a mummy who is currently roommates with Misha. Unlike Misha, Aya is a huge introvert and likes to spend their free time by themselves cooped up in their room. They're just like me for real. It's to the point where Misha would have to remind Aya to eat, or at least like take care of themselves, because they're kind of not the best at doing that. Aya is also a model for a fashion brand, which happens to have a sister company for beauty products. I wonder who models over there. Aya also doesn't talk much, so when they're at any gatherings, they prefer to just kind of be by themselves in a corner, either doing their own thing or disassociating. They're just like me. They don't mind hanging out with like 1 or 2 people they're close to though. They also have a very cynical and dark sense of humor that they and maybe like a few other people might find funny, but to most people it's just concerning more than anything. I don't know why, but I had the most trouble when I was picking colors for them. Maybe it's because I rarely work with browns, but trying to pick colors that went together with their base colors was really hard. When I was working on their personality, I wanted them to have vibes of Ice Bear from We Bear Bears and Fur from Phineas and Ferb, which is the silent type that carries the series.
足立刑事ですか。確かに警察関係者というのも一つの考え方ですね。目撃証言が不自然に少ないことの説明もつく。生ためのトラックが証言に出なかったのと同じです。あるいはそれを利用すれば情報を隠すことだって可能かもしれません。実はその足立刑事についてですが、なんというか実は以前から何かがどうも引っかかってて。
Last but not least, we have Anku or Ann Hayashi, a Grim Reaper and half Shinigami weeb gamer nepo baby. Before you tell me that Grim Reapers and Shinigamis are the same thing but from different cultures, I know, but I'm putting my own little twist on it. Basically, all monsters who are related to death or are in their own ways are a Grim Reaper of sorts, are basically treated like royalty or someone with a lot of power. They all have their own houses, companies, and a shit ton of money, which Anku happens to be a child of not 1 but 2 houses of Grim Reapers. Like I said in her intro, she's a gamer and a weeb who spends most of her time gaming in her room. I can tell you this right now, but everything in her room is lit up with LED lights, and she has at least 5 of those glass shelves you see people put their figurines in, or like make shrines for their favorite characters. That is the only way she will ever flex her money, because otherwise, you would never guess she was a Grim Reaper. Her outer appearance is more akin to of an Oni with her horns, but once she opens her eyes, then you'll know she's a Reaper. For context, all Reapers have specific eyes to indicate that, you know, like they're a Reaper. I don't know if people will be able to tell, but I heavily based her personality off of Konata from Loki Stars, and the second character that I wanted to add for personality inspiration was Ranpo from Bungo Stray Dogs, and maybe that's like obvious in the way of her design as well, especially with Konata. I don't know. Maybe some people will notice it, maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? I love designing her outfits the most out of the cast because these are stuff that I would actually wear and what I drew the most outside of drawing Anne or just like anyone in this series. Her colors were also really easy to work with, so it was all the more enjoyable to draw her.
How about you, Kagami? Jeez, that doesn't sound very interesting at all. I know it's good for me because I'm getting all this knowledge, but it's starting to get expensive. No, library wouldn't really carry that big a selection of manga. Even though I was pretty confident I didn't do so good. It's kind of a mystery. Sensei. おう、私も全く気にせず遊びました。気を取り直して。 お兄さん、そっちに並んでるのは当てたらどれでももらえるの？そういうのって女同士でやってもつまんないよね。扇風機出したんだ。見て見て。でもって。でもって。でもって。
And with that, that was everyone. Yippee! If you watch all the way through to the end, thank you for listening to me yap about my children. And if you're interested in more stuff about my OCs, let me know. And check out my toy house, which I will link below along with my other socials. Also, before I end things, I just want to thank y'all for getting me to 100 subs on YouTube. I didn't think I'd have an audience here yet. Here we are. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you later.